Aye, kuwe kuamadue.
Aye, kuwe kuamadue.
Aye, kuwe kuamadue.
Aye, kuwe kuamadue.
Could you please state your name?
Absolutely. My name is Olafemi Bankh Akintunde, also known as Brother Bankh.
Well, Brother Bankh,
Yeah.
welcome to the Oral History Project for the Brotherhood of Elders Network. We're so excited to have you here, and we just want to talk about your life, the things you've been going through, the things that are currently going on, and just get a better understanding of you. So thank you
Absolutely.
again for being here.
Well, thank you for having me. It's always an honor being in this space with you. So,
Absolutely. No, I appreciate
Yeah.
you. Appreciate you. So let's get started. Where did you grow up?
right here, Oakland, California.
Okay.
Grew up right here in Oakland, different parts of the city.
Okay.
West Oakland initially, kind of close to Baba Greg, a couple blocks away on Linden Street until I was about 8, and then moved to East Oakland. But I'm an Oakland native, born and raised,
Through and through.
through and through.
Through.
Yeah.
What was it like growing up in West Oakland and then making, as you said, transition into
To East Oakland? Well, I just say in general, like Oakland was such a beautiful experience growing up. I mean, of course, we had the negative aspects of Oakland, right, with the drug game and the different things that was going on with the crack coming into the communities. But on the positive note, this city was about 55% African American when I was growing up, so it felt black. It had a black essence to it. The music was alive and vibrant and going. I mean, we had the digital undergrounds, the Tonys, the M Vogues, the MC Hammers, Pac, and then not to mention our local, artists that a lot of folks wouldn't know if I mentioned, but were really a part of our culture and upbringing. So, this was a really, really fun place to grow up, but it definitely came with its challenges, but it was exciting.
I hear that. And what influenced you, or who influenced you the most as a child?
I mean, I was closest to my mother growing up, you know what I mean? Like, just her spirit, really, I resonated with it as a child, but my grandfather, as a male figure was, my inspiration. He was, the person that took us fishing.
Okay.
He was the person that took us camping. He was the person that took us to our first A's game, our first Warrior games when the seats was $5, and nobody was coming to see the Warriors, But just the overall experience of, some of those rites of passages that you go through as a young man, I was able to experience that with my grandfather, So he definitely inspired me because he had his stuff together. Mm-hmm. He had the beautiful home, he had the car, the boat, the van, every holiday and every instance of the family coming together was always at his house. He had stuff set up for the children, with the pool tables and the workout benches and so he was just this multifaceted individual, who was very brilliant, and I really valued and admired his spirit and the way that he moved,
Did he live in West Oakland?
No, actually he lived in Berkeley. So he was a part of that group of folks that moved out of the South and came out here, last train stop, so to speak. A brilliant thing about my grandfather is that he came from Galveston, and that's the site of Juneteenth, and so he came out of this really large African Native American tribe. My great grandmother, long ponytails going down, headdress, like everything, and so he comes from that history, but he was very brilliant. He went to Cal Berkeley, like back in the 40s, and he really instilled a lot of things in my aunties. He had 4 daughters, and all of my aunties were able to transition from high school and go on to Ivy League schools, and mostly back east, to be honest with you. One auntie went to Columbia, got a full ride to Columbia as a rider. Another auntie went to Pratt, and she's doing really big in New York right now. Has been a really influential individual in that tri-state area, and outside of there. my mother, who was the youngest, she graduated when she was 16, 15 from Berkeley High and got a full ride to NYU. So he was really like big on, instilling, academia, but also just basic tools, like how to use a tool, how to, work with your hands. And so they was, fixing things and, electricity and, building things with the hands and all. Like he didn't believe in, because you're a girl, you can't do what you need to do. So he just gave his family a lot, and I really appreciated, admired, and valued the way in which he showed up.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
And so you mentioned earlier going from West Oakland to East Oakland, having your grandfather around in Berkeley. Was it primarily just you in the house with your mother, or what was
No, I had two brothers. I have two brothers, and we're all back to back. You know what I'm saying? It's like a stair step. So I grew up with it was me and the boys, Akintunde boys, and that was a blessing too, just to have other brothers. We could be outside playing for hours. We grew up in that play outside era, where we had the tire swing and the bicycles, and we create games and all type of stuff. But those were my play buddies, my brothers.
I hear that. And did you attend school in Oakland?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I went to school. I went to a few schools in Oakland. Martin Luther King. Went to Sequoia, Allendale. Most notably was Eli Omade, of course. All black private school in East Oakland, in deep East Oakland, which is like the heart of East Oakland. It's that's where everything goes. It all goes down in East Oakland. Believe that. So, that was a wonderful experience.
I hear that.
Yeah.
So I was going to ask, what was just the whole education process like for you going to school? Because you were getting some type of education outside of that, as you mentioned, with your grandfather and the skills that he was instilling in you. So did you feel like there was a big difference when you were going to school in terms of what you were learning and things like that?
Depends. Like if I was going to OUSD, Oakland Unified School District, there were definitely some differences. Oakland Unified School District is a very challenged district. It's a very complex, situation, especially as a student. We often were, placed with substitutes for the year, or, we're underfunded, textbooks, from the early 80s, and it's now close to 2000 and stuff like that. So, it was a education that was kind of bipolar in between that world and, going to an all-black private school, which, of course, gave us, culture, identity, but then also gave us that rigor in academia as well.
Excellent.
Yeah.
What would you say are some lessons you've learned about Black society?
I learned a lot. I mean, I've traveled, numerous places. I've been all through like Central Africa, West Coast of Africa. I've been, Japan, Europe, all these places. And that, I mention these places around the world because everywhere I go, I always find history of Black people. And so I'm like, even when I'm, in a, northern Scottish land or in Scandinavia, it's like I'm always finding something about Black history in this place. And so what I found out about Black culture, one is that we're ever expansive. Like we're there's no limitation to our culture. We can exist in every climate, in every environment, from the hottest of the hot to the coldest of the cold. We're the tallest of the people and the shortest of the people in the world. Where, we can come out all white down to our hair follicles, or we could be as black as night. But our resilience and our genetic brilliance, who we are, it resonates in everything that we do. Anything that we touch, and so growing up here and being a, foundational Black American, as they would say, right, growing up here in the United States, it's been really a beautiful journey for me to to bear witness to the possibility that we can present, because a lot of the world is actually looking at the black folks that are here in America. Like a lot of the Africans, a lot of folks they wait for us, because we tend to fuel a lot of movements. We tend to, when we say something, people kind of listen, regardless if it's on a musical level, i.e. hip hop, you know what I'm saying? Or if it's on, another level of, political actions and social movements and things of that nature, So, we have a lot of influence here on this side. But just our culture in general is just beautiful. If you could sum it up in one word, I would say beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah, everything about it.
Yeah.
The way we talk, what we cook, you know what I'm saying, how we communicate, the way we hug, the embrace, the way we, are sincere about enjoyment of life. I think I seen a video yesterday. It was a white couple. It was in a pool, and it was a bunch of black folks. And they got the, you know what I mean? Like they was like, no, I'm good. We don't want no part of it. Then after a while, they was like, we having fun. And I'm telling you, black folks can make a party anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Because we are a celebratory people. We celebrate. Matter of fact, we have 365 days out of the year. When you go to Africa, they have like 200 something days just worth of festivals. You know what I'm saying? So you be like, where's this celebration from Carnival, Mardi Gras? You know what I'm saying? For us out here in Oakland, Black Joy. That Black Joy parade was like, you know what I'm saying? It was life for everybody that was of color, that was anywhere close to Oakland. It was life. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Just being down there, you was just, you know what I'm saying?
So many people from out of town, a lot of reunions. Yeah.
Oh, it was going down. It was the energy was good. The vibration was good,
Excellent.
And that's what we are as well. We're a high vibrational people, and so we can shake up and stir up the pot whenever we choose to in any realm.
I hear that. I want to go back to something you said. You mentioned a few different places in Africa you traveled, as well as in Asia.
Yeah.
What got you traveling?
Music, performing. Yeah, performing, music. Also doing work inside of like nonprofit world. Kind of gave me that platform to be able to travel a little bit too. Even to this day, I'm still able to travel through, nonprofit, through, through the Brotherhood of Elders Network and, other connections, to the music realm, but some tours, 10 cities here. The first time I left the country, I did 52 shows. Wow. In Japan and Taiwan. That was amazing.
What type of music? Sorry,
West African. West African theater and performance. So I drummed, but I also did some dancing. And did a ceremonial mass dance and some other stuff like that. But I started out in the West African and ventured off into hip hop and stuff like that. So.
What got you interested in the music, and then you also said that you were drumming as well, and dancing and performing. How did that come about?
Well, growing up in the community that we grow up here in Oakland, whether you're dealing with Wose, which was the church that was connected to Eli Omide, or you're dealing with Eli Omide, or you're dealing with any African Advanced Children's Learning Center, or these communities kind of tie you into the arts. And so it was standard and mandatory that we drum, that we sing, that we dance, that we do something that represented, a cultural representation of who we are. So how I got into it is just by nature, culture, and being a part of the culture, growing up. But later on in life, I would say that when I went to school in Mississippi, when I was like 18, and folks always ask, well, why'd you go down to Mississippi? I don't know why I went down to Mississippi. You know what I'm saying? I went down there because it was an opportunity for me to get away from Oakland. And it was going down in Oakland. It was like the Wild Wild West out here. You know what I mean? It was folks was dropping like flies. So I went down south to Mississippi, And I hooked up with a guy named Jerry down there who was a drum maker and who frequently went to New Orleans because, Louisiana and Mississippi are like right next to each other. So on the weekends, outside of school, I would go to New Orleans with him, and we'd be down there immersed in, New Orleans is like the most African city in the United States of America. You know what I'm saying? And you know that if you've been there, right? Yeah. And so there was a lot of African folks that were down there, and it just, as soon as I heard the drum, it just resonated with me, and so I was able to kind of get back into the arts, down in Mississippi. And then when I came back home to Oakland, I joined a West African troupe, and then that following week after I joined them, I was in Japan doing 52 shows. Wow. So in Taiwan. Yeah.
Excellent. And what was your first reaction or feeling when you left the country? The very first time, what was that like for you?
It was amazing. It was amazing. It was just, there's a lot of myths. There's a lot of things that you tell yourself, when you don't know. But what I found is that the greatest thing that you could ever do is go see for yourself. There's a lot of, I'm a historian. There's a lot of books that I've read. There's a lot of things that I've, immersed myself into, but there's the only way that you'll ever really understand something fully is to go see it for yourself. I think Professor Manu and Pim, he talks about, first-hand information, second-hand, third-hand, and the difference in between them, and so this is first-hand information, and a lot of things you won't see in books, a lot of things they will not tell you, and you got to go to the locals, you got to go to the, because the history is buried a little bit, when I went to Taiwan, we met some folks that was darker than me. I was confused. Mm-hmm. I was like, well, how does that, what? Mm-hmm. When I got to Japan, I was met by a woman that was like 6'8". She was like, welcome to Japan. I was like, hello, okay. There goes that myth about short and so all the myths that I thought about, they just went out the door, and it's something very special about being in a place where you don't speak the language. You have to hush up. You have to be silent. You have to pay attention. And everything you do is based off of energy. Your experiences, everything you do is based off of the type of person you are, what you attract to you. So everywhere I went around the world, I got treated good. You know what I mean? I had really good experiences, even if folks in my group didn't. Like me personally, I had really magical, wonderful experiences because I was open to the culture. I was very respectful of the people, and came with the intent to understand, and just be aware. So.
Excellent.
Oh, fun story. When I was in Taiwan, the first time I went, they took us to a mall. And so we went to a mall, and of course, folks was like trying to come up, take pictures with us, and that whole thing, whatever, right? So we went to a hip hop store. And so when I walked into this hip hop store, everybody's like, yo, what's up, man? Doing all that, imitating who we are back here in the States. They were playing this guy named Keek the Sneak in the store. And now that's a local, That's a local Oakland artist, right? It's one of them artists I was mentioning earlier that folks might not know about, but Keek the Sneak. And they were playing a very popular song, called Cool, And so, we just had like a East Oakland moment in the mall in Taiwan, just on some random. So that was really, that let me know how vast culture can spread, and how, even though it took me 24 hours essentially to get to this place, that Oakland was still influencing this place like 24 hours away.
Yeah, that must be so affirming to just go out there and you hear someone, not only a black artist, but someone specifically from your area, from your neighborhood, from to hear that all the way out there. Like, how did this music even make its way?
Yeah.
So it just, but as you said earlier, our voices and our culture travels far and wide. So that's a testament to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you've had these experiences and being able to travel overseas and do that, and then you come back to the U.S. and you have all these, I'm sure there's a lot of just differences and things that you've noticed as well. So my question is, what does being Black in America mean to you, especially after having these international experiences?
Well, sometimes I would find myself like, just on the journey of coming back like from overseas. It just be like, my spirit get a little low, you know what I'm saying? Like, I remember when I used to fly into Oakland, my face would wrinkle up, and I just, I wouldn't know why it was happening, you know what I'm saying? I would just pay attention. My scowl would come back, you know what I mean? That type of stuff, but, I just recognize from being, other places in the world, how special we are, how we get treated so well in certain places. I mean, of course, racism exists, in certain spaces around the world, but for the most, people really look up to us. They really value the black person, and so that's really wonderful to be respected, to be revered, to be looked at as something that's of value and worth. Because sometimes we don't feel that as Black men in this country. We don't feel the value and the worth. Even our Black women definitely don't feel the value and the worth inside of this country, So when you leave outside of here, that's the biggest thing that just kind of pops and stands out. But coming back into this space, you recognize the opportunities that you have, because we have a lot of opportunities over here that a lot of folks overseas just don't have. We have access to things. We can pretty much do whatever we want, if we stay the course, if we focus in, that type of thing. So here in America, we struggle with being complacent. We struggle with, not taking advantage of these opportunities, and the resources, and folks that come from outside of here, they understand that a little bit more, a little better. They come in here and they all right, and we get this, you know what I'm saying? Let me get 3 of those, 2 of them, like they like, okay, let's pull it in, and then they ship it right on back home, So I think it's just, a clarity around responsibility, around the resources that we have, and then what do we do with it, and just some deeper commitments, when I came back into this space, like, look, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna bring more folks outside of, America, take them outside of this little grain on the map called Oakland, and take them around the world and go see something different. And then two, I have a deeper sense of my purpose in life, because I'm able to, understand myself a little bit better. And I think the greatest journey that you'll ever take in life is a journey inside of yourself. And that's what travel and everything allowed me to do. It allowed me to be still, be quiet, be calm, be vigilant, and really pay attention, so.
I hear that. And just around that, you started to articulate certain things that you wanted to do and you think that the community needed that you could assist with by getting other people to see things outside the community and so on from there. But what would you say are maybe the top 3 things that you feel like the most harmful to the Black community?
Corner stores. I would just say, and I was joking around corner stores, but yeah, seriously, food and nutrition is huge for us. There's certain diets that we have that are specifically designed to destroy who we are. We don't function good on them. We don't do well. We're not at optimal health on them. So I would say food is one. I would say our understanding around economics is another one. There are so many loopholes. There are so many ways to become a millionaire in your sleep. Yeah, we don't understand what it means to pass on wealth. If you went into a room and you asked, everybody to raise their hand that had life insurance. Folks was like, like what? And just that concept alone, I think having life insurance could shift the narrative of Black folks. I think it'd be a lot less Black folks being killed. You know what I'm saying? I think it'd be a lot less poverty, because the transfer of wealth would happen just like that. And you would be able to, purchase homes and stuff, things of that nature. So economics is huge. Health is huge. And my third one, I would say, is spirituality. And the reason why I say that is because a lot of us are very religious, but it's the spirit that allows us to move. Like when I'm saying, like going across into different countries, I'm moving with my spirit. It's not it's not the religious aspect. It's the spiritual part of myself. And so, I think that our spirit in this particular country is under attack on multiple levels, numerous levels, because of the type of people we are, And so I think it's important for us to be aware and be vigilant of the social media, of the ways in which we're being ushered into certain movements or to do certain things. I think it goes against the nature, like the overall nature of who we are as a people, and there are distinct cultural differences in between us and other people,
Interesting.
Yeah.
Would you say your spirituality was influenced by the travel you did overseas? Or was that already something that was a foundation that you had prior to leaving and getting a chance to experience these other cultures?
Well, I say, in regards to spirituality, I say it's inside my DNA. You know what I mean? I came back into this world, with my spirituality, you know what I mean? So it's my ancestors that really, implore me and give me strength and give me courage and wisdom and direction and things of that nature. And so I think, we're ancestral people, but for myself, I'm deeply involved with the ancestor work, and I know that the travel had a lot to do with evoking and, bringing that to the surface, you know what I mean? Like being able to see, well, what does it look like to live in certain principles and values? And you're watching people. I was in Mali, and Mali is the third poorest country in the world, but it felt like it was the richest country in the world. Because of the spirit of the people, because of the lessons, because of the culture, you know what I mean? It felt like I was walking into, when you see that opening scene with, in Wakanda and they in the market and stuff like that, that's how it felt, like being in Mali, just a very, very beautiful place. And so that place itself just evoked a lot. It brought a lot, an understanding of who we are. You in Mansa Musa land. You know what I'm saying? You in Abubakar II land, you do some research on these folks, you know what I'm saying, to figure out what's going on. But these are like high level civilizations, you know what I'm saying, that existed. So anytime you go into a space like that, it's going to influence you, and you don't have to read anything. You don't have to like go on a tour, pick up a pamphlet and nothing like that. You look in the eyes of the people. You see the way that they mold their gold and how they, the customs, how the kids, you look at the happiness in the kids, you look at the elders, how the elders are treated, nobody never, you look at, you don't see homelessness. You don't see certain things. So you just like, just a high level of culture definitely has an influence.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And you started to talk about this as well when you were describing some of the things you'd like to change, especially the issues that you were just laying out. What are some ways you think that we can fix them?
I would say there's no like one answer, two answers, three answers, but I think knowledge and learning how to apply that knowledge, I think is really important. So becoming knowledgeable, like I said, okay, well, we have an issue around economics. So now I'm gonna do some research on economics and figure out, well, how are these folks really making money? Is it the stocks? What are NFTs? What is crypto? How does this apply, in this new world that we're stepping into? Like, become knowledgeable about what's happening around me so that I could be a valuable player in this world. Okay, I'm eating a certain way and I know that's not working for me because I got hypertension, my blood pressure is up, you know what I mean? I got sleep apnea, this is happening. So let me become a little bit more knowledgeable. Okay, they got this plant-based stuff. What is that about? Okay, is all plant-based good? Is it some like, so just doing a little bit more research, and then figuring out how to apply that, to your life, I think will support, and us being able to move out of, out of this space of survival mode into a thriving mode. But I always tell people you have to put on your face mask first. You got to save yourself first. You know what I mean? Like I've been fasting and cleansing for the past couple weeks, and you know I can't say enough about what it does to your body when you're in control of what you consume. It changes the way that you look at the world, and so yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So I want to get into, we usually start this a little earlier, but I wanted to ask, how did you get involved with the Brotherhood of Elders Network?
My wife.
Okay.
My wife.
Okay.
As simple as that. Yeah, she is she's a powerhouse in Oakland. She's a beautiful, beautiful spirit, a wonderful woman, a wonderful mother, a wonderful wife. I really admire the work that she's done here in Oakland and outside of Oakland. She's a much bigger figure than I will ever be in my life. And it's good to have those type of people in your court and on your team, and so she introduced me to a lot of the elders. I mean, of course, there was a lot of folks that I knew already, but I wasn't tied into this community. And she tied me in with her brother, Jason, on a more intimate level, and, brought me into some of the elders. I already knew Baba Greg, the rest is history. I've been here consistently. I felt like this space is such a beautiful space for Black men that, for us to come together and to really talk about some change and some movement and to really, do the work. There's so many beautiful minds and beautiful spirits that are part of the Brotherhood of Elders Network. So many people that have done so many wonderful things in their life and continuing to do these things, i.e. Bobby Perkins and some of the other pioneers. And so I'm forever grateful and thankful for my wife, introducing me to the Brotherhood of Elders Network.
Excellent.
Yep.
How has the Brotherhood of Elders Network impacted your life?
How hasn't it? That's the question. So many ways. So many ways. I mean, I grew up, I didn't have a father. I had my grandfather. And that was, when he was tapped in on grandfather duties, it was good. But when he wasn't around, I didn't have that strong, Black male figure and presence. And, for us as Black men, it's so important at every stage of our life to have other men support us, love on us, guide us, protect us, nurture us, speak life into us. And that's what the Brotherhood of Elders Network has done for me in my life. It's put life into me. It's given me a platform. These brothers believe in me. They trust me. They love me. I was telling Baba Cole yesterday that I found myself in Baba Perkins' arms crying. Just what I mean? Like just thankful for this journey and thankful for his life and just the connection, and he didn't even have to say nothing. You know what I mean? It was just that's how beautiful these connections are. And just like our work is very serious and this is our life work, well, these are lifetime connections. You know what I mean? And the Brotherhood of Elders Network, for a lot of us, it's like church. You know what I mean? It's a very spiritual, here we go with that spirit again, right? It's a very spiritual experience, so, yeah.
I hear that. And, just around there, I think it's one of the things you've been mentioning, like you said, spirit has come up a lot. And just having a lot of these experiences been able to kind of shape how you've been moving accordingly so far. So what would be some advice that you would have given your younger self?
I would say, face your fears early. Don't be afraid to ask for help and support. You're not supposed to do everything alone. Even though you feel like you got to conquer this world by yourself, you don't have to. I would say, be in the habit of practicing self-love and self-care at an early stage. Never be afraid to let go. Never be afraid to let go. What's meant to be will be. I would say hold on, you know, because there was some turbulent times, you know, ahead. So, you know, make sure you hold on and just know, like my mother says, this too shall pass. Be patient with yourself and follow through. You do what you say you're gonna do, you know. I would also say be still. I would say be still and create your plan and work your plan.
What are you most proud of?
You know, I'm most proud of my ancestors. I'm most proud of my DNA, the folks that came before me. I'm so proud of the connection that I have with my children. You know, I think that every group of people has their own ancestral wisdom. Everybody has a tree that they come from, you know, and each tree is designed to do something different, bear different fruit, different seasons, different weather, stuff like that. So in understanding my tree that I come from, it's a beautiful tree. It's a big tree. It's strong. It's a strong tree. It's been around for a long time. You know what I mean? It's a warrior tree. And I'm appreciative of that tree, and I'm appreciative of the fruit that it bears. And I pray that I could fertilize this tree in my life, and that the work that I do in this life will allow this tree to grow 20 times, 30 times bigger and impact the next 7 generations behind me.
I hear that. And you seem to be doing work right now to impact other generations. Can you speak on that?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, once again, shout out to the Brotherhood of Elders Network for employing me with the responsibility of working with our young men. For the past 12 years, I've been doing intentional work with young black men. And I kind of grew up in a space where there were groups of black men who were working with young black boys. And so I got to see different models, from Dr. Wade Noble's Hawk Federation to the Simba movement. So I got to see different models of folks working with black youth. And so this is, you know, once again, a part of my life work. And I am the director of Ubuntu Leadership Institute. And this institute is really designed to empower these young brothers, to give them what they wouldn't get otherwise in school, you know, from a cultural standpoint, from an economic standpoint. When you talk about all the things that you wish to see shift and change, well, we have a platform to introduce those things to these young men. And then we give them an opportunity to practice that, and then tie it back into the network of other black men that's around to support them in their journey. So that's the work that I'm doing right now. And I think it's the work I'll be doing for a very long time. And it's the work I've been doing. You know, in about a month or so, I'll be speaking on a panel for all of the Cal State University systems. You know, they have a conference for young men of color. And I just really take pride in being able to have an influence, you know, and an impact, whether it's the Campaign for Black Male Achievement or whether it's through the OUSD, African American Male Achievement Program that I was in for a few years. You know, whatever it is, I'm happy to be able to have an impact on these young brothers and to give them something that we didn't have.
I hear that. And just around that, what are some lessons that or advice that you give to younger generations, some of these younger brothers?
Same advice I would give myself, no different. Same advice, you know, be patient with yourself, love yourself, self-care, you know, come up with a plan, work your plan, understand there's gonna be some turbulent times in front of you, be calm, be patient, you know, weather the storm. All of those things, I would just say, you know, once again, don't be afraid to let go. You know, there will be people around you that really don't wish to see you succeed, that you know, deal more in fear than they do love. And love and fear can't exist in the same place at the same time. It's very hard for those two to exist in the same place. And so if you have people around that, you know, are very fearful, then they'll hold you back from doing the things that you want to do, because you're trying to tie into a group. You're trying to lock into something like a construct or idea. So, you know, once again, don't be afraid to let go.
Afraid to let go. I hear that. And last question, what is something you're looking forward to? I mean, whether it could be events, some of the work you're doing, whatever comes to your mind. What are you looking forward to?
Well, I'm looking forward to this next cohort of young men that we got coming in. We're looking at getting about 20 young men coming in, so I'm definitely looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to owning a home this year. I'm looking forward to raising my kids and watching them grow and flourish. I'm looking forward to, you know, being in my optimal health. You know what I mean? Summertime is right around the corner. My birthday's right around the corner. So I'm like, you know, I'm ready to be in bar with the shirt off. You know what I mean? It's feeling good. You know, I'm looking forward to all of that. You know, I think that, you know, life is choice. And so, you know, I'm choosing to thrive. I'm choosing to be successful. And I'm looking forward to my success reaching me. It's on its way. It's like, and I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. But I know it's like right there, though. Yeah.
I hear that.
Absolutely.
Well, Brother Bankh, thank you so much for your time today and getting a chance to sit down and speak with us. You know, we're so happy to have you not only as part of this program's ongoing project, but having you in the Brotherhood of Elders Network with the work you're doing. So we salute you.
Man, thank you. Thank you so much, man. I'm so proud of you. You know what I'm saying? On the flip side, I really am. You know, it's you know, when people are doing good and they're successful, you get to say their name. You know what I'm saying? You get to say their name with love and probably like, hey, yeah, my boy. Yeah, my boy. So, you know, just to see you doing what you do, it's an honor, and I'm thankful to be able to share the space with you and to be at this juncture. It only feels right to me. You know what I mean? It feels like a conversation that we had on the couch before. So, thank you. I appreciate that.
Right on. Thank you, man.